you're renting a place that has lots of furniture, lots of personal items, cutlery, glasses, all the rest of it, you actually better do an inventory, because when the tenant moves out, how will you know what was there? How will you know what wasn't there? What condition things were in? And probably the top reason that people lose their deposit, as in the landlord loses a claim for a deposit, is because they don't have an inventory.
Have you got any personal experience of when an inventory served you well, or where you didn't have one?
Not so directly. It's more maybe because I'm sort of been doing this a little longer and the gray hair comes naturally. It's been sort of my practice to have an inventory or have detail. I have had a couple times though where I took on a property from someone else, or it was with a prior company where I bought into it later, and yeah, the transition was a bit rough because we didn't know what we were getting, so we sort of had to sort of wipe the slate clean and almost assume nothing was there, see what the tenant would agree with, and then go forward with now a clean inventory and a clean understanding.
Do you think that landlords perhaps undervalue inventories a little bit, because they only really come into their own when there is a dispute? So perhaps landlords are a little bit sort of lax in actually getting them in position at the beginning of the tenancy.
There's the problem that yes, it really doesn't have a benefit in the landlord's mind to the end, and that's a little bit late. So yes, it's more housekeeping, and people are always bad about doing housekeeping. There's another side, the inventory process, the whole greeting or the introduction of the tenant to the property. If you're doing an inventory process, you can actually make it a better customer experience. Set the tone with the tenant, let them know what they have, what they don't have, items that maybe are nicer than they would normally expect, those little touches that leave a good feeling. So it can set the whole tenancy up on a better footing if you take a little effort, have a bit more professionalism, make it clear about making sure everybody's on the same page. I think that's the real sort of missing element, that by doing an inventory or a good check-in process, sort of explaining the house rules along with the inventory, then you can run a much better tenancy over the life of the tenancy, because everybody knows what's going on.
And just finally, do you think that digital is going to really help inventories become defragmented and perhaps even more standardized in terms of the level of detail that's required?
I'm going to slightly do the political thing and dodge the question. Say, for me, I have property that's some distance from where I live in most cases, and the digital makes it a lot easier for me to see consistency, that I can sort of quickly register whether it's there or not, see what level of detail is there, and I don't have to get someone to file paper somewhere. I can actually be traveling and look it up. I can be somewhere else, and if the tenant says something broke, I can say, well, do you even have one, or what do you have? So it just makes it easier on the follow-up, makes it easier on I don't have to be somewhere like in an office, and I can also see when the property manager or whoever I'm using did the inventory, when it came in, what it says, was it signed, was it agreed? So it makes it a lot quicker rather than waiting for a piece of paper in the post.